Cory, can you introduce yourself and where we are and the squash club?
Yeah, no worries. Cory Youd, so I'm the current president of the Deloraine Squash Club and have been for the last 7 years now. We currently in our old squash facility that we've got the council currently building us a new one.
Why do you play squash?
Followed in my father's footsteps. He played squash up on the board behind us, one of the A-grade champions, and so went along in his footsteps, started at about 10 and been playing for 27 years now.
Do you have other family that's playing as well?
At the moment my youngest brother also plays and my two elder sons have got the pressure on me to get them to start playing also, but just trying to fit it in.
Do you know how many people are in the club?
Currently we have about 35 playing members, but depending on the time of the year, we end up with about 50 at the start of the season compared to the end of the season. Some play at the start, some play at the end, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Any star players?
We do now. We have two young guys, Jared and Caleb Atkins, and they've just moved into under 19s, but they finished under 17s last year as number 1 and 2 in Australia. So pretty good.
So where to for them from here?
Just continue on their path. Jared's been accepted into a Olympic pathway program for 2032 Olympics. And yeah, so they're just finding their feet now, moving from school into sporting life and
because squash will be in the 2028 Olympics as well?
Yeah, so 2028 LA Olympics. I'm not 100% sure around all the logistics of it, but hoping that it'll be in the 2032 up in Queensland. Yeah. When
people come and play competitions, do they just do it in Deloraine or do you travel around? Or
a little bit of both. The majority of our club just play in Deloraine. We're probably what you'd class as a slightly more social club compared to some of the other clubs. So the guys like Jared and Caleb move down to, say, Devonport and play in regional and state, interstate tournaments to get more exposure. So yeah, we do have a couple of club members that play at Devonport and at some clubs in Launceston, but yeah, primarily the guys just come and play here.
Do you know much about the history of the club?
I'm going to get dates mixed up, but I think it was early 70s. We started as a club, was formed as a club, maybe 71. We're just currently working through that, trying to get a really accurate record of all our history and people gone by. Yeah, still working on that, but it was around the early 70s. Yeah, and just been pretty strong here. There's lots of stories to get thrown around. There used to be 3 courts here. We've come back to 2. There were stories you used to have to book in each night of the week to try and get a practice hit. It was that popular back in the late 80s, early 90s. Had to tape it off a little bit since then, but yeah, we still keeping pretty good numbers, which is good.
What are some of the challenges that the club has faced?
Probably one of our main challenges overall is the location. Being stuck down behind, as you've obviously come in here, we're down behind the little theatre complex, just hidden away. It's not really that well known. A little bit of word of mouth gets around if there's any squash in Deloraine. So that's been restricting, I guess. It's just people knowing to start with, and then only having 2 courts makes it time restrictive, difficult to keep the night short, that people aren't hanging around for sort of 5-6 hours of a night trying to get games. So that, yeah, that's probably been our main hamstring overall. We've had experience in the last, what are we now, in the last 10 years we've had 2 major floods in Deloraine. Both times the courts have been impacted by the flood waters because the river's only just outside here, and 2016 wasn't so bad, but the ones in 2022, we ended up with nearly 1 metre of water in this room. And so that wrecked the floors on both of our courts, shut the club down for nearly 12 months. The council have a facility in Westbury that we were able to transfer to, but that did knock our numbers around a little bit on the back of COVID as well. We're still recovering from that, but we're getting back going again, which is good.
In terms of funding, where does that sort of come from? Is it mainly members or is it other sources?
We have had some grant funds with electronic equipment. We score electronically and things like that, which has been good. So we access some grants through the government schemes for that, which has been great. But yeah, primarily most of our gear, most players are sort of
sort themselves out,
have their own gear and things like that. But yeah, so we've been lucky in that respect.
If you're looking for people to join, what should they do to start?
So we are looking at the moment. We're working on a grant to access a decent amount of equipment for starters that the club will have. We're hoping to look, once we move into the new facility, to engage more with the schools, and Squash Tasmania will have a presence in that, and then we'll have the equipment available for people to come and try. Yeah, we run a Facebook page that you can find on Facebook. We'll get in contact, but most of the time it's word of mouth. We send out a message at the start of every year and tell your mates to come along, and we normally get a few new starters like that. Yeah, so that's how we go about it at the moment.
And the new courts that you mentioned, how many are there going to be, and do you know when they're going to open and where they'll be?
So the new courts are going to be built at Alveston Drive beside the existing basketball complex. We've got 4 new courts going in up there in a standalone facility, which just sits beside the basketball court, so that's really exciting. It's a great move forward for us. Yeah, so that's probably all that.
What's your favourite part of the Meander Valley?
I was born and bred here, so I'm fairly biased towards Deloraine. I think it's just a good community. There's lots of aspects to this community. It's very multicultural. There's lots of really engaged with sports in the Deloraine Meander Valley area, but then there's also a big arts movement with the craft fair and things like that, and so it's just very diverse. There's really big passion around volunteering with emergency services, with service clubs. Always look at and around Tasmania and always feel that we've been pretty strong in all those areas. It's good to see. It just shows that people are engaged with their community, I think. Yeah, I think it sets up overall just to be a good place to live.